This is the NVIDIA 1 month overview reading for the month of June 2025. It's currently June 1st, 2025, 6:58 p.m. Eastern Time. NVIDIA at the time of this reading, $135.13, that's USD. And the shuffle video for the June reading was created on May 25th, 2025 at 9:18 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video playing right here. Now, before we get started, I just want to get a few important things across to anybody that's new. First off, what we're going to cover in this video will be the overall trend direction for NVIDIA in the month of June. We're going to give you chart behavior to look for around the month's highest high and the month's lowest low. We're even going to give you the day-by-day sequence of chart events throughout the entire month of June and one of the best trades that we see for the month of June. It's important to understand it's a sequence of chart events as outlined by the prediction that's most important to follow. The timing is usually on point to the day, but ASO meta-analysis, which is this system of analysis, was developed over 26 years for the purpose of sequence of chart events. So there may be cases where you need to give the timing plus or minus a day here or there of wiggle room, but the sequence of chart events almost always remains accurate. There's human error occasionally, but very rarely. And so with that said, guys, that's the main reason why I do not recommend trading this information without access to our early access or our monthly access subscription, where you get the live Discord trade alerts and live trading view chart drawings where we actually draw entries and exits on the chart ahead of time. We're usually on point, not always, like I said. But if you're serious about trading this stuff, you must have those services. Otherwise, think of this video as entertainment. We're proving to you that extrasensory perception can be used practically, that it exists, and it can be used practically in the real world. If you insist on trading, just paper trade this. If you've never seen this before, paper trade this and see how it goes. And then if you like what you see, then come on board, because monthly access subscription is game changer, and we cover multiple crypto and tickers with that subscription. I'll show you how to get that at the end of the video. All right, so the overall trend and chart behavior for the month of June, we have a rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. It's crossed with an important opportunity, an improbable opportunity that's going to stand out amongst other opportunities throughout the entire year of 2025. Improbable, meaning probably unexpected. And we'll look at that in more detail as we progress. Behavior around the highest high for the month, we've got resistance level important on a 1-year chart scale minimum that we decline from and return to at least once within the time frame of the reading. There should be a breakout into the high, so maybe like a momentary breakout. Behavior around the lowest low, we've got a U-shaped dip that forms near the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines. Usually there's two peaks and a trough, and the trough is the low. Now, before we get into the day-by-day sequence of chart events and give you one of the best trades that we see, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that the whole purpose of the channel is to make good for the world. Imagine if everybody in the stock market took a portion of what they made and they donated it to charity or a good cause. How much better the world would be. So we have the rule of karma for the channel. This is an on your honor. And what you do is you go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of all profits should be donated forward to one of these charities or a charity of your choosing. Just make sure you're paying it forward to keep the flow of abundance going through the universe. 5% of all profits should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use crypto, you can use Wise. Crypto, we prefer right now TiFi token or XRP. And that leaves you with 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you're paying it forward, keeping the flow of abundance going through the universe. You're paying it backwards, showing gratitude, doing the right thing, and gratitude begets more gratitude. You are what you attract what you are, my friends. 90%, leaving your conscience clear by spending it out of love. The universe will consider you an angel investor for following through on those rules, and it'll send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get into it. All right, so here we've got, on the first, we've got a prominent peak, and everything again on the scale of a multi-day chart with 1-day candlesticks unless otherwise specified. We've got a prominent peak that forms on the second with a rally into the peak, but the rally is halted by a decline through key support into a trough, probably midday. The decline probably continues into the morning on the third, and out of that decline we have a huge move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range, taking us to probably a highest high thus far, or taking us to a peak at the end of the day on the third. So we go from a lowest low thus far early in the day on the 3rd to a highest high thus far late in the day on the 3rd. And then another huge jump on the 4th, probably back down into a lowest low thus far. Out of that decline, which the decline should halt at a major support level on the 4th, in like at least a multi-day scale, probably like a 1-year chart scale, and that decline will be halted at that support with a big move from the bottom of the range all the way to the top of the range, taking us back to a peak and probably a highest high thus far early in the day on the 5th, where we have price swings, likely an even higher price level at some time a little bit later in the day on the 5th, but be careful, there's price swings, and then another significant low on the 6th before midday, most likely, with a fast sudden move higher out of it. A peak might be taking place early in the day on the 9th, but we have an unexpected move to the upside on the 9th, taking us to a prominent peak on a 1-month scale. There's a brief peak on the 10th that is easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels into a trough. You don't want to chase the decline there on the 10th. Be careful for that. We open probably higher, or there's a speaker overnight, something around like the cusp of the 10th and 11th, a speaker, and what they're talking about, it can be relied upon and trusted. Most likely it's going to get people excited, and it's going to end up with like some sort of bullish move. I'm actually seeing a similar thing taking place in that exact area with that exact ruin and that exact combination of that dynamic going on in the S&P 500 reading. So that's pretty interesting. We should have bearish price swings on the 11th, but probably from a higher price level than the 10th. And then a rally on the 12th that will turn over either on probably by the end of the day on the 12th. And then on the 11th, out of the decline, a prominent move higher, followed by a full retracement back down taking place on the 13th. There is some possibility of a peak towards the end of the day of the 13th, but it's not a very strong possibility, so I wouldn't rely on it money-wise. On the 16th, we've got a period of volatility, and in that period of volatility, we see a prominent peak on a 1-month scale. There's a rally into key resistance on the 17th, and once we meet that resistance, we break down with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Into probably oversold territory on the 18th with a big move to the upside, really, especially towards the end of the day, taking us into a peak at the end of the day on the 18th. Juneteenth, market is closed. On the 20th, we likely have a pop and a drop. And then on the 23rd, we've got a prominent trough that forms and a prominent peak. So we have probably 2 troughs and a prominent peak that forms, where we move to the upside through key resistance. We stay above it briefly, creating that peak, and then we break back down through that same price level shortly thereafter with the full retracement, probably back into a trough. And then we do some sideways rotation on the 24th that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then more sideways rotation at a higher price level. Erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level on the 25th, most likely revisiting an opportunity in that erratic behavior. Looks like it's probably going to be to the upside, probably revisiting a crest. Let me see here. Yeah, revisiting a crest on the 25th. And then there's some sort of intentional fake out or shakeout taking place on the 26th, prominent peak on the 26th. But if intentional fake out or shakeout, something intended to make us do the wrong thing impulsively, so they may like falsely trigger an indicator or something like that, a piece of news that like has a negative reaction, but then something happens to kind of counteract it, things like that. Be very, very careful on the 25th. We should open significantly lower on the 27th at key support level on a multi-day scale, probably on a 1-year chart scale relevant. And there's a lot of price change into and or out of that support level, probably with some sideways rotation at support as well. A rally on the 30th takes us into key resistance, and we abruptly turn around and break down all the way back down and past the point at which the rally into the resistance started. Sneak preview for July, we've got a decline to and through support to meet another support. We attempt to establish support there for a little bit throughout the month, and then there's more decline. I'm also seeing on the S&P 500 reading indications of decline in July as well, so be mindful of that. The July reading, look out for that to come out very, very shortly, like within the next week. A All right, guys, one of the best trades that I see, remember, just paper trade this. If you're serious about trading this information, you must have access to our live Discord trade alerts and trading view chart links. You can ask any questions about the reading there, and I keep you up to date in real time when my expectation may change or something is off by a day or something like that. You'll be able to keep you on track. One of the best trades that I see. Yeah, so on the 6th, probably midday, let's say we're at a lowest low thus far for the month or close. I would open up a long position there on the 6th before a fast sudden move higher takes place. It may turn over a little bit before the end of the day, but I would hold. Likely we're higher on the 9th. We probably have like some movement to the downside on the 10th where you could add to the long position possibly. And I would look to close that long position. I would look to close that long position on the 12th, most likely, on the 12th. Or you could do it quickly. And matter of fact, the better trade would be to open up the long on the 6th and close it on the 9th when we have that unexpected move to the upside. The backup would be on the 12th. Rule of thumb with SO meta-analysis, never wait for the backup. Always take the profit quickly. People that consistently make money, and I've talked to so many traders and people that invest in the stock market and trade in the stock market. I've talked to so many of these people one-on-one through my workings. One thing that I noticed, and it was a huge epiphany for me, is that the people that consistently profit and make money in the stock market are also the people that are always saying, oh, I took my profit too early. I took my profit too early. I took my profit too early. Big deal. You took a profit. It's the rookie that concerns themselves with max gain. It's a trap. Don't do it. So go for the first profitable exit. Use the 12th as a backup. And again, only trade if you've got access to the monthly access subscription. You get that on our website, Tarot for Traders. Hover over order now, click on subscriptions. Monthly access subscription gets you everything that early access has. So all the day trades for S&P 500, swing trades, and earliest access to any posts. But it also gets you the day-by-day sequence of chart events for SPY, Bitcoin, XRP, Tesla, Nvidia, QUBT, and Solana. All day-by-day sequence of chart events. We also predict the timing of the highest high and the lowest low to the day with usually insane accuracy. We're off sometimes, or like maybe one out of 6 or one out of the 6 readings will be off or something like that. For the most part, these are on point to the day, guys. This is hugely valuable. You make your money back on this in one trade easily. It's currently $300 a month. We're turning this back on today, but it's $300 a month, and that's really, you make it back in one trade and some, my friends. It's the most reliable form of analysis known to man. And if you take the time and you care enough to actually watch us, more than just one reading, watch us for a little bit, you'll see what I mean. We are on point. With that said, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button, and as always, blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.